Polo Grounds may never be the same, but won't really matter very much because this is the final game of the season here, and the Mets are scheduled to open up next year at the new Municipal Stadium at Flushing Meadows. So right now, we'll get along to the business of giving you starting lineups and batting orders for the regular game. For the Chicago Cubs, starting today is going to be rookie Billy Ott. He is a New York boy, of course. He is 21 years of age, has been playing at San Antonio. Billy Ott will be playing right field and leading off. Kenny Hubbs will be playing second base and batting second. Ernie Banks will be batting third and playing first base. Billy Williams will be in left field batting fourth. Nelson Matthews will be playing center field batting fifth. Ron Santo will be batting sixth and playing third base. Alex Gramus will be playing short and batting seventh. Juno Barragan will be batting eighth and catching. And George Gerberman will be pitching and batting ninth. Manager Casey Stengel of the New York Mets has now come out of the dugouts, heading out to the home plate area. And Dusty Bogus, who will be umpiring behind the plate, is on his way out. Now Charlie Metro is bringing out the lineup cards for the Chicago Cubs. Charlie Metro has had a long run as the head coach of the Chicago Cubs in their multi-coach system. He has been at the helm since June. Now here comes Stan Landis and Vinnie Smith to join the umpiring corps. And Mel Steiner now coming out of the dugout. The Chicago Cubs with New York boy Billy Ott in the lineup. Of course, they have rookie Nelson Matthews in there, whom they have just brought up, and George Gerberman making his start. He is from El Campo, Texas. He's only 20 years of age. At Wenatchee this year, he won 13 and he lost 5. Right now, the New York Mets are taking the field here at the Polo Grounds. Checking them around defensively. Ed Cranepool is at first base. Rod Kenneal is at second base. Elio Chacon is at shortstop, and Sammy Drake is at third. Frank Thomas is going out to left field. Jim Hickman is moving out to center, and Joe Christopher out to right. Choo Choo Coleman is the catcher, and Bob Miller is the pitcher.
Number 23, Joe Christopher. Batting fourth, 1 yard, playing left field. Number 25, Frank Thomas.
Dusty Bonches is the umpire at the plate. Stan Landis at first, Vinnie Smith at second, and Mel Steiner on at third. Bob Miller firing down the warm-up tosses. As Lou Klein has come out to the coach's box at first base for the Chicago Cubs. And Charlie Metro is around at first. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. You fans who are smokers, ever find yourself with a 3-0 count against you? Those cigarettes you're smoking suddenly taste flat, dry, and hot? Then it's time you made a switch. And I don't mean to those weak menthol brands some people try out as pinch hitters. They just haven't got what it takes. I mean a real change to Cool. Tell you something, your cigarette's not tasting cool enough till you come up to Cool. Cool's refreshing menthol magic actually brightens taste. You'll feel extra coolness in your throat all day long. Extra coolness no other cigarette can give you. Here's the first pitch. It is to Ott, and he sends a ground ball down to Crane Pool. He plays over to Miller, covering in time for the out. So New Yorker Billy Ott has grounded out. 3-1 if you're scoring, and that'll bring up Ken Hubbs. Ott is 21 years of age. In San Antonio this year, he led the league in triples and hit 278. He had 23 home runs. And now Kenny Hubbs at the plate for the Chicago Cubs. Pitch is in there for a called strike. Yes, sir, you can take it from me. You better come up all the way up to Cool. Get Cool Filter Kings with the pure white filter or Cool without filter. Feel that extra coolness in your throat. Pitch is low to Kenny Hubbs. It's 1-1. You know, the makers of Cools are very happy to be bringing you these baseball games. They especially hope that you'll enjoy this one, the final one at the Polo Grounds. Swing and a foul ball. 1-2. So why don't you change to Cool? One ball, two strikes to Kenny Hubbs, right-hand batter, as right-hander Bob Miller. Brings the pitch a little outside, and it's ball two. It's 2-2. So far this season, the Chicago Cubs and the New York Mets have played 14 games. They have won 7 each. Miller's pitch sails high, and it's 3-2. Bob Miller has won none and lost 12 this season. Ernie Banks is now on deck for the Chicago Cubs. A full count to the Cubs' second baseman. Miller now with the windup and the payoff pitch, slow and away, and he walked him. So Kenny Hubbs goes down to first base with the base on balls. The first given up by Bob Miller. Hubbs becomes the first base runner of the game, and that brings up Ernie Banks. Banks is hitting 274. He has 36 home runs and 103 runs batted in. He's in there. It's strike one. Miller working from a stretch position with Kenny Hubbs, the base runner, at first and one man out. As a pitch out, nothing on. It's 1-1. Bob Miller is making his 20th start and his 32nd appearance of this season. Against the Cubs, Miller has had 2 starts and 1 relief appearance. His record, no victories and 1 loss against the Cubs. That pitch outside. 2-1. In case you missed scores last night, in the National League, the Phillies beat the Cincinnati Reds 2-1. The Los Angeles Dodgers beat the St. Louis Cardinals 4-1, and the Houston Colt 45s beat the Giants 6-5. Base runners going as a swing and a foul ball back and out of play. 2-2. Ernie Banks, who was in successive years voted the most valuable player in the National League. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, 2 away. That, of course, the first strikeout for Bob Miller, and a big one. Brings up Billy Williams, left-hand batter and left fielder. Williams is hitting 304 for the season with 22 home runs. As we start play in the National League this afternoon, the Dodgers on top, the San Francisco Giants 4 games out, Cincinnati Reds 7 games out, the Pittsburgh Pirates 10 games out. Milwaukee 18.5, St. Louis 21, and Philadelphia now only 21.5 games out and only a half game back of the St. Louis Cardinals. As a throw to first, not in time. That pitch is in there for a called strike to Billy Williams. The magic number for the Dodgers is now 4, and in the American League, the magic number for the Yankees is 2. Any combination of Dodger victories and Giant losses totaling 4 will give the Dodgers the pennant. Pitch is outside, 1-1. Any combination of Yankee wins and Minnesota losses, totaling 2, give the pennant to the New York Yankees. Miller into the stretch position as Hubbs leads. He's digging, and the pitch is inside, getting away, coming all the way back in the dirt, rolling back to the backstop. Hubbs round second. He's on his way to third. Choo-Choo Coleman retrieves the ball. We'll find out how the official score is going to rule it. Pass ball or wild pitch. As Hubbs was running on the pitch and moved all the way to third. 2 balls and 1 strike to count now to Billy Williams at the plate. Scored as a wild pitch in the dirt. This is game number 156 for the Mets for the season. Pitch is high. 3 balls and 1 strike to Billy Williams with Nelson Matthews on deck. This is the third game of the series. Mets won on Friday night, and the Cubs won yesterday afternoon. Miller's working straight away. Here's a 3-1 pitch. It's high, and he walked him. That's the second walk given up in this inning by Bob Miller. Then Billy Williams to first. Kenny Hubbs holding at third, and Nelson Matthews coming up. He has been up 30 times and has 6 hits for an average of an even 200. He is from Columbia, Illinois. He's 21 years of age. Played at Wenatchee, Washington in the Northwest League this year. Hit 368, had 24 home runs there. Broke in with the Cubs with a grand slam home run. It's a swing and a ground ball going through the hole into left field for a base hit. Kenny Hubbs comes on to score. Billy Williams holds at second. And holding it first is Nelson Matthews. With a ground single to left, a run batted down. Hubbs scoring from third, and the Cubs are out in front by a score of 1-0 with Ron Santo coming up. Santo's the third baseman, hitting 230, but he has 17 home runs. They've had him all up and down that batting order. They've used him as a leadoff man. They batted him second. They batted him fifth. He's been all up and down the line. 2 men out. That pitch is high to Santo. Ball 1. Runners leading at first and second bases. Santo was Rookie of the Year his first year with the Cubs, year before last, 1960 season. Here's a swing and a ground ball, foul. Charlie Metro, the coach at third, fields it. Cubs, of course, do not have a field manager as such. They call him the head coach. They do not have a general manager as such. They have an executive vice president. The followers of the Chicago Cubs generally have been disappointed at their season's performance in spring training. It had been expected by many that the Cubs might come along this season. Here's pitch. Swung on as a ground ball to third, taken deep by Sammy Drake, and he steps on the bag for the force. That retires the side. So in the top of the first, the Cubs got 1 run on 1 hit. There were no errors, and 2 men left. So at the end of 1 half inning of play, the score is the Chicago Cubs 1 and the New York Mets coming up 0. Well, you've heard that gag about a 1-game winning streak. But say, you fans who are smokers, did you ever find you were having a 1-puff winning streak with your cigarettes? That brand you've been smoking ever began to taste hot and dry after the first puff? When things are going that way, folks, it's time you made a switch. It's time you changed to Cool. Fact is, your cigarette's not tasting cool enough unless you're smoking Cool. That's because Cool's menthol magic actually brightens taste. It's refreshing all day through. You'll feel extra coolness in your throat all day long. Extra coolness no other cigarette simply can give you because they just don't have that menthol magic that Cool's got. So get out of that smoking slump. Come up, all the way up to Cool. Get Cool Filter Kings with the pure white filter or Cool without filter. Now on with the game. The makers of Cool are happy to be a part of bringing you these games. And they have brought them to you, of course, all season long, and they especially hope that you're enjoying this, the final game of the season at the Polo Grounds.
Leading off for the New York Mets.
The Mets will send up Elio Chacon to lead off, the shortstop. Elio is batting 236 for the season, 2 home runs and 25 runs batted in. George Gerberman on the mound for the Chicago Cubs from El Campo, Texas. He is 20 years of age, was 13-5 at Wenatchee. That's Wenatchee, Washington, in the Northwest League. This is his first Major League appearance. So here comes George Gerberman's first Major League pitch. He winds, he fires, and it's high for ball one. Chacon, of course, a right-hand batter. That pitch is right in there. Gerberman seemed to be aiming that one, wanted to be sure and not get too far behind on the first man he has faced in the Major League. Just 1-1. Saleh coaching at first base for the Mets, and Cookie Lavagetta around at third. That pitch is low. Casey Stengel had Saleh as the sign man at third for most of the season, and then when Saleh went on a scouting trip to Texas, he moved Lavagetta over there and left him. That pitch is high, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike now. Choo-Choo Coleman on deck for the Mets. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Low, and he walked him. So young George Gerberman has walked the first man he faces in the Major Leagues. And that brings up Choo-Choo Coleman. Choo-Choo is hitting 254 with 6 home runs and 17 runs batted in. Choo-Choo was selected for the Mets off the roster of the Philadelphia Phillies, was with them in spring training, was the first Met hero when he got a pinch homer against the St. Louis Cardinals. The second game of the exhibition season, the Mets went on to win that one. A swing and a miss. Choo-Choo then was sent on to Syracuse before the Major League season opened, and at Syracuse, strangely enough, was used a great deal as an outfielder. Then the Mets brought him up, and Casey Stengel put him in there behind the plate. Casey liked his hustle and his speed, and Choo-Choo has become quite a favorite, and has been able to hit the ball for distance. Chacon's running. There's a ground ball. It's fair inside the bag at first. It's down the line and right. Chacon's on his way to third. Choo-Choo on his way to second. And the play comes in, and holding at third is Chacon, and holding at second is Choo-Choo Coleman with a double. Well, the hit and run was on with Elio Chacon moving on the pitch, and Choo-Choo Coleman slashed the ball just inside the bag at first. Ernie Banks came over, reached for it, but could not feel the ball, and the Mets now have runners at second and third, and Joe Christopher's coming up. Christopher has been hitting the ball especially well the past month. He has a season batting average now 253, 6 homers and 30 runs batted in, and that pitch is in there for a called strike. Pitch to Christopher is a swing and a fly ball to short right field. Coming in is Billy Ott, but Ken Hubbs has gone out and called. Hubbs makes the catch. Chacon draws the throw and goes back. There's no advance, 1 away. Right now, we pause for station identification.
This is WGY Schenectady 810 on your dial, where the time is now 25 minutes before 3 o'clock.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Bob Murphy and Ralph Kiner at the Polo Grounds, where Frank Thomas is coming up. Runners at second and third and 1 man out. Big Frank with 32 home runs this season. He is tied with Roger Maris of the Yankees for the New York home run lead of the season. That pitch is high to Thomas. Frank's hitting 260 for the season, 32 homers and 90 runs batted in. That pitch is in there for a called strike to Thomas. Ed Kranepool is on deck now. He's the youngster signed out of James Monroe High School this year by the New York Mets. A muchly sought-after young player. made his major league debut yesterday. Again, Gerberman with the pitch. Swung on. It's a ground ball to third. Here's a play at the plate, and Chacon is hung up. He is tagged out, and now Coleman is hung up, being chased back by Santo, and now they have him in a rundown. And he is tagged out, and the ball gets away, and he is tagged out again, and now he's out, and the side is retired. A ground ball to third, taken by Santo. He played to the plate to Cuno Barrigan, so the play on Chacon went from 5 to 2 to 5, and then the play went from 5 to 4 to 2 to 6 on Coleman, with Thomas, of course, on the field as choice, and the side is retired in the bottom half of the first inning. The Mets got no runs on one hit, no errors, and one man left. And at the end of one full inning of play, the score is Chicago Cubs 1, the New York Mets nothing. This, of course, the final game of the season for the Mets here at the Polo Grounds, and next year they're scheduled to open up in a new stadium. Next year you'll be able to see your Mets in entirely new surroundings at the beautiful new Flushing Meadows Stadium. Work on this new ballpark has progressed to the extent that the Mets are now accepting applications for season boxes and combination plan tickets. Prospective purchasers may send names and addresses to ticket manager, Polo Grounds, New York 39, New York, and application blanks will be sent them. Present subscribers need not apply because applications will be mailed automatically to them. The Chicago Cubs coming up in the top half of the second, sending up Alex Grammas. Facing young Bob Miller. Pitch is low for a ball. Miller, of course, would like nothing better than to get into the victory column on this, the last game of the season at the Polo Grounds, since he has not been able to win a game this season. He has had stretches in which he has pitched some fine baseball. Swinging a high fly ball to left, going deep is Frank Thomas. He's back there on the edge of the warning track, and he makes the catch for the out. So Alex Grammas flied out to left, one away, and Cuno Barrigan, the catch, is coming up. Well, the Mets, it seemed, had a great scoring opportunity there in the first inning, in case you have joined us the last few minutes. Chacon walked, Choo-Choo Coleman doubled, sending Chacon to third, so the Mets had runners at second and third with nobody out. Christopher popped out to short right. Then Thomas hit a ground ball to Santo, which was turned into a double play. Pitch is in there for a called strike. Swing and a miss by Cuno Barrigan. Strike two is the count to him. After Chacon had been tagged out and Choo-Choo Coleman was caught in a rundown, the tag was made on him by catcher Barrigan at third, but then he dropped the ball. It rolled about 3 feet away and was simply picked up by Alex Grammas, who then tagged Coleman out. Swings and misses. Strike three. He struck him out. Second strikeout for Miller. 2 away, nobody on, and pitcher George Gerberman's coming up. As a pitch swung on, it's a blooper to first base, taken by Crane Poole for the out that retires the side. So the Cubs are out in order in the top half of the second inning with no runs on, no hits, no errors, and none left. At the end of an inning and a half, the score is Chicago Cubs 1, the New York Mets nothing. And now a word from Cool Cigarettes.
If your cigarette tastes hot,
If your cigarette tastes dry,
you're not smoking cool enough.
and here's the reason why. Your cigarette's not tasting cool enough.
Unless you're smoking cool.
You're not smoking cool enough till you come up to cool. Cool's menthol magic brightens taste.
Refreshing all day through. Feel extra coolness in your throat.
As cool comes through for you. You're not smoking cool.
Cool.
Cool enough till you come up to cool.
Enjoy the extra coolness you feel in your throat when you smoke Cool. Enjoy that bright, clear taste all day long. Come up to Cool with the pure white filter, or Cool without filter.
The New York Mets will send up Ed Kranepool now to face young George Gerberman. So we have here a situation of a pitcher who is making his Major League debut against a batter who made his Major League debut yesterday. Greenpool was up one time yesterday without a hit. Left-hand batter. That's a ground ball right back to Gerberman. He plays it on to first base in time. So there's one away, and that'll bring up Sammy Drake. Sammy Drake is switch hitter. He'll be batting left against the right-hand pitcher here. Drake has been up 40 times and had 8 hits. Gerberman starts the pitching motion, and it's a fastball in there for a call, strike one. Jim Hickman is on deck now for the New York Mets. Again, the pitch. Swings and lines it into the glove of Banks at first for the out. Sammy Drake lining it right into the glove of first baseman Ernie Banks for the second out, and with nobody on, Jim Hickman is coming up. Hickman is hitting 251. He has 13 home runs and 45 runs batted in. Hickman's a right-hand batter. Settles himself into the batter's box. That's Gerberman. He's into the windup, and here is the pitch. A breaking ball right in there for a call strike. Slow curveball. Strike one. Gerberman getting a sign from Kuno Barrigan. Pitch is in there for a call, strike two. Swing and a miss, strike three. Struck him out. That is the first strikeout for Gerberman as he gets Hickman swinging, and Gerberman retired the side in order in the bottom of the second with no runs on no hits, no errors, and none left. The end of 2 innings of play, the score is Chicago Cubs 1 and the New York Mets nothing. Well, of course, the college football season has begun all around the country, which reminds us that there'll be a big football game played here next Saturday afternoon. The colorful and exciting Army football squad will appear here at the Polo Grounds Saturday, September 29th, in a major college game against Syracuse. And in addition to the football game itself, spectators will have an opportunity to see the Corps of Cadets of the United States Military Academy, who will put on one of their stirring and memorable parades here in the ballpark before the game. Tickets for this 2-for-1 show are on sale now at all 3 of the Met ticket outlets, one located here at the Polo Grounds, one at Grand Central Station, and one at Pennsylvania Station. Bob Miller taking the warm-up tosses as we'll be moving to the top half of the third inning here, and it'll be the top of the batting order coming up for the Chicago Cubs. Now Miller has just about completed his warm-ups. There's a throw going down to second base. We're all set to go, and all set to go right here is Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Lindsay, it'll be Billy Ott, local New York boy, coming to bat for the second time in this game and his second appearance in the Polo Grounds. Billy Ott, before the game, told us that he did at one time think about signing with the Giants and playing in right field after the fashion of Mel Ott. But then the Chicago Cubs persuaded him not with money, but with talk to join their organization, and that's how he got here the hard way, as far as the Giant fans are concerned. Ott hit 23 home runs at San Antonio, and he takes the first pitch for ball one, high fastball. 21 years of age, he attended Cardinal Hayes High School in New York City. Fastball bounced down to Cranepole. He takes it one-handed. Wins the race to the bag. That's out number one here in the top of the third. So both times that Billy Ott has been to bat, he has grounded out to first base. And that brings up right-hand batting Ken Hubbs. Ott, incidentally, is a switch hitter. Hubbs batting .263, 5 home runs and 49 runs batted in. He reached first base in yesterday's game 5 times successfully. Fastball hit hard in the ground, dug out by Rod Cadill. The throw to first base in time. Rod Cadill going to his right made a good play coming up with the ball. It was well hit. And now the Mets have 2 men out and Ernie Banks to contend with. Ernie struck out swinging his first time up. 1 of 2 strikeout victims for Bob Miller. Miller has given up only 1 hit in allowing 1 run, and he has walked 2. And the first pitch to Banks is low. Fastball for ball 1. Ernie batting .274, 36 home runs, and 103 runs batted in. Miller reading the signs from Coleman now. Winds and back to Banks. There's a line drive down the left field line. It is a foul ball. Ball bouncing off of the wall in the short hop taken by Frank Thomas, and that ball just curved foul at the last minute. Foul by about 2 inches. Called foul by third base umpire Mel Steiner, who had run on out to make the call. So the count goes even at 1 ball and 1 strike, and Banks comes back to the batter's box. 2 men out. The score 1-0 in favor of the Cubs. Ball hit by Banks was in fair territory until the very last second, just before it hit the wall in the short hop. Now Banks looks at the curve. It's down in the dirt. Ball 2. That's a good sign when you can make a ball curve to your left when you're hitting, that your hands are working fast and that the bat head speed is very fast. Now the 2-1 count. It's low for ball 3. So Miller, after the foul ball, working the count to 3-1 with 2 men out. The on-deck batter is Billy Williams. Now the windup and the delivery. And there's a pop-up on the first base side. Crane Bull calling. And he makes the catch to retire the side as Bob Miller retires the Cubs 1-2-3. And the score at the end of 2 1/2 innings of play. The Cubs won, the New York Mets nothing. Say, we really had a wonderful day on Rheingold Day, August 4th at the Polo Grounds. All of us got to meet the 6 beautiful candidates for Miss Rheingold 1963. And let me tell you, if I had my way, they'd all be next year's Miss Rheingold. Beautiful? I'll say. Really, the decision is up to you. Your votes will decide whether Carol, Prue, Eileen, Beverly, Loretta, or Chris will be your Miss Rheingold 1963. So next time you're buying beer, as beer should taste, in any one of the 45,000 stores and taverns that sell New York's favorite beer, Rheingold Extra Dry, drop in a vote or 2 for your favorite candidate. And right now, while you're enjoying the game, why not enjoy a glass of Rheingold Extra Dry with the flavor that's brisk and bright and clean, clear through. Don't forget now, next chance you get, vote for your favorite Miss Rheingold 1963. Mets will play Milwaukee 2 night games on Tuesday and Wednesday and finish up the season in Chicago Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Of course, all those games will come to you over the New York Mets Baseball Network. And now it's Rod Cadill here in the bottom half of the 3rd. Right-hand batting second baseman. Rod batting .253, and the first pitch is taken low, ball 1. Cadill going out as though to bunt, then pulling off. Rod has 4 home runs and 27 runs batted in for the year. George Guberman, right-hand pitcher, into the windup, and the ball is hit down to short. Taken there by Alex Ramis. The throw to Banks in time for out number 1. So now Guberman, with 6 outs in a row, the only base hit against him by Clarence Coleman, a double to right field. And now he'll be pitching to Bob Miller, right-hand batting pitcher. Bob batting .139. Guberman has struck out 1 and walked 1 in 2 1/3 innings. And the first pitch to Bob Miller, outside for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes, and the pitch back is hit to center field. Matthews there waiting, and he makes the catch. So 2 men out now, and the batter will be Elio Chacon. Elio walked his first time up. Right-hand batting shortstop, batting .236. At Pittsburgh, the Milwaukee Braves 5, the Pirates nothing. Tony Cloninger against Bob Friend. Friend trying to win his 19th. Home runs by Matthews and Hank Aaron. Matthews is 28, and Aaron is 42nd. Here's the first pitch to Elio Chacon, a strike call. At Philadelphia, Cincinnati 1, Philadelphia nothing through 3. John Satoris going against Chris Short. Pitch back to Chacon, inside and high. 1 ball and 1 strike. At St. Louis, the Dodgers, with the magic number of 4, have Don Drysdale on the mound. He has 125 and lost 7. He'll be opposed by Larry Jackson with a 14-11 record. Now to Chacon, ball 2. Pitch high again. 2 balls and 1 strike with 2 men out. Score 1-0 in favor of the Cubs, bottom half of the 3rd. San Francisco is scheduled at Houston. Now Chacon looks at a strike on the outside corner, and that moves the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. George Guberman into the windup, and the pitch to Chacon. Low for ball 3. Full count now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Three and 2. Guberman taking the sign. Now winds and pitches to Chacon. High for ball 4. Chacon walks, and now Clarence Coleman. Second walk issued by Guberman. And Coleman comes in. He's the only man to pick up a base hit against the right-hander. Also in the American League, Minnesota 1, Baltimore 2 at the end of 4. Dick Stigman going against Chuck Estrada. Boston at Washington, postponed because of rain. Cleveland at Los Angeles, and Detroit at Kansas City. Chacon at first, he has a big lead, and the pitch to Coleman is swung on and missed, strike 1. Slow curveball, Coleman out in front. Well, the St. Louis Cardinals have turned the tables on the Dodgers. They have scored 3 runs off Don Drysdale in their half of the first, and they lead the game now 3-2. Drysdale and Larry Jackson. Right here, the score 1-0 in favor of the Cubs. Mets with a time run at first base and 2 men out. Bottom half of the 3rd inning. Coleman waiting on the left-hand side of the plate, and the pitch back is a slow curveball, popped up into shallow left field. Coming on quickly, Bill Williams, and he makes a catch to retire the side. And the Mets in the 3rd inning had a base runner on a walk, no runs and no hits. 1 man was left, and the score at the end of 3 innings of play: the Chicago Cubs 1, the New York Mets nothing. Well, this is the last game here at the Polo Grounds, and if you happen to be listening here in the stadium, real good idea as a memento of the return of National League Baseball to New York is to pick up a copy of the new and completely revised Mets yearbook. It contains a history of many famous sporting events which took place right here in the Polo Grounds. Boxing and football as well as baseball. Biographies and photos of all the Met players, manager Casey Stengel and the coaching staff, and pages of action pictures. And you can purchase it right here at the Polo Grounds for 50 cents, or if you would like to mail in for it, simply write to Mets Yearbook, Polo Grounds, New York, 39, New York, and enclose 50 cents. It will certainly be a souvenir which will become a collector's item. Speaking of collector's items, as this is the final home game of the season, and Rheingold Extra Dry would just like to tell you what a pleasure it has been to be able to bring you the Mets on radio and TV. There's still a week left of baseball action on the road, and you can be sure that Rheingold Extra Dry will bring you every bit of it. So why don't you settle back and enjoy this game, presented by Rheingold Extra Dry. And you'll enjoy it even more, I'd say, with a fine cold glass of Rheingold Extra Dry right at your side. Now Bob Miller all set to go here in the top of the fourth inning. The score 1-0 in favor of the Cubs. Bob looking for his first win of the year. He has lost 12 in 20 starts and 32 appearances. Bob will be pitching to Billy Williams, left-hand batting left fielder. And here's the first pitch. Curveball, a good one. Swung on a miss, strike one. Miller has a real sharp curveball. His big problem is control. He has a good sinking fastball to go along. And he's had a lot of bad luck. Now the one-strike pitch. Right through for strike two. Bob Miller to Billy Williams as Williams leads off here in the top of the fourth. On deck batter Nelson Matthews. He has driven in the only run of the game. Now the curve. It bounces in the dirt. Taken on the first hop by Coleman. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Williams walked his first time up. He's batting .304 with 22 home runs, 91 runs batted in. Fine year after being the rookie of the year last year. Here's the 1-2 pitch to the left-hand batter. Bounce right through the middle. Williams going for a high fastball. Pitch was out of the strike zone, and he picks up a base hit. That is hit number 2. Off of Bob Miller, it will bring up Nelson Matthews, who has the other base hit in the game. Matthews singled to left field between the shortstop and third baseman his first time up to drive in Kenny Hutt. Runner at first base, and the first pitch by Miller to Matthews is high for ball 1. Matthews batting from the right-hand side. Here's a big football score. The New York Giants 17, the Philadelphia Eagles 13 at the end of the half. Washington 7, Cleveland 3 at the end of the first quarter. Those are the 2 big scores in so far. Now a swing, a foul tip, held onto by Choo-Choo Coleman as Nelson Matthews goes for a curveball. The count now 1 ball and 1 strike. Green Bay nothing, St. Louis nothing at the end of the first quarter. Right here it's a 1-0 game. Cubs lead. Top of the fourth, no one out. A runner at first base. And Bob Miller working to Nelson Matthews. And the 1-1 pitch, a curve, and he's went far enough. It's called strike 2. Matthews started to go try to hold up, and then Dusty Bogus indicated he had gone far enough. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Matthews with a widespread stance. He's a big, tall fellow. And the 1-2 pitch on the outside corner, called strike 3. Curveball by Bob Miller for strikeout number 3. 1 out now, and the batter coming on is Ron Sano. Sano hit into a force play his first time up. He's batting .230, right-hand batting third baseman. Miller a look at first base. Billy Williams there, and now to the plate with his first pitch to Sano. A curveball fouled back, strike 1. Sano with 17 home runs and 82 runs batted in. He started his career as a catcher, was moved to third base by Rogers Hornsby. One strike count of Ron Sano as Miller takes time reading the signs from Choo-Choo Coleman. Now he sets, looks at first base, and goes there. But back in time, Billy Williams. Miller back on top. And back to the plate. Fastball, a big swing and a miss by Sano, strike 2. Bob Miller 0-2 to Ron Sano, the on-deck batter, Alex Dramus. Williams leading at first base. And the pitch to Sano inside, a fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. At Pittsburgh, Hank Aaron has hit his 43rd home run and his second in the game against the pitching of Bob Friend. 2 men were on, so the Milwaukee Braves now lead 8-0 over Pittsburgh. They're still batting in the top of the 4th. Willie Mays hit his 46th home run last night, so Aaron trails in. There goes the runner. The pitch is swung on and missed. The ball gets away from Coleman. He throws to first base. Runner running there. It was unnecessary. He was out anyway. But moving on down on the strikeout to second base was Billy Williams. And we'll see how it's scored. It could go as a stolen base, a wild pitch, or a fastball. It's strikeout number 4 for Bob Miller. And he will now work to Alex Gramis, right-hand batting shortstop. It scored a pass ball against Clarence Coleman. Miller has given up a wild pitch, and the Mets have set a new all-time record for wild pitches in one season this year on that wild pitch. Here's the first pitch to Gramis, a curveball that's looked at. Strike 1 call. Mets have made 70 wild pitches this year for the new record. Now Miller on top and back to the plate. Again, a called strike. This one a fastball in the outside corner. So the count now 0-2 to Alex Gramis with 2 men out. Billy Williams at second base. The score 1-0 in favor of the Cubs. Top of the 4th inning. Now the pitch back to Gramis. It's sliced to the right side and it goes foul. Gramis hit right on the hands on a fastball. And the count holds at 0-2. Cubs 1 run on 2 hits. The Mets have no runs and only 1 base hit off of George Guberman making his first major league start. Now it's Miller to Gramis again. The curveball outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gramis flied to left field his first time up. He's batting .213. Miller now back to the plate. This curve hangs high, and the count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two and 2 with 2 men out. Bob Miller shaking no with his head on the first sign. Now nods yes, as Coleman sends him the sign. Now again he goes no, and Gramis steps out of the batter's box. Time called. Gramis now back in, and Miller gets set. And his next pitch, a curve high for a full count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. The on-deck batter is Kuno Berrigan, the catcher. He bats from the right-hand side. Three and 2. Miller a long look. Now gets set. Chacon moves in behind Williams. No play there. And the pitch back to the plate is a curveball. He struck him out. Gramis goes down swinging for 3 strikeouts in a row for Bob Miller to retire the side. And that is strikeout number 5 in the game for Miller. Cubs no runs on 1 hit. No errors. 1 pass ball. And 1 man left. And the score at the end of 3 1/2 innings of play. The Cubs won. The New York Mets nothing. Now listen to one of the nation's top vocalists with a musical message for you.
Hi, this is Vic Damone. That Rheingold Extra Dry, now that's the beer to buy. Its flavor's brisk and bright, and clearly extra dry. It's New York's favorite brew, the only one for you, because it's dry and true. That's Rheingold Extra Dry. That Rheingold Extra Dry, man, it's got flavor to spare. Brisk and bright and clean clear through. And dry tells you why. Brewed of the choicest ingredients, the long, slow way. No wonder it's the most popular beer in town. The taste of Rheingold's bright because it's brewed just right. Brewed long and slow for flavor, clean and extra dry. That Rheingold Extra Dry, now that's the beer to buy. It's extra dry, that's why. Have a Rheingold beer tonight.
It's the bottom half of the fourth inning. The Cubs with the only run in the game. It came in the first inning, and now the Mets come to bat here in the bottom half of the fourth. They will send up Joe Christopher, Frank Thomas, and Ed Krahenbuhl here against rookie right-hander George Guberman. George so far has given up one hit, struck out one and walked two. One base hit going to Clarence Coleman, a double to right field. And now Joe Christopher coming up to bat. Joe flied out to the second baseman his first time up. He's batting .253, 6 home runs and 30 runs batted in. And the first pitch by Guberman. Just outside, a little bit low too. Ball one. One ball, no strikes. And time call as Christopher steps out of the batter's box. And here's the pitch. It's on the outside corner. Strike call, the curveball. One ball, one strike. Maury Wills has just stolen his 96th base of the season, the Ty Cobb, for the all-time leadership in stolen bases in one season. Now the 1-1 pitch, a butt attempt that goes foul. So Wills in his 156th game has just tied Ty Cobb with 96 stolen bases in 1 year. Ty Cobb incidentally stole his 96 bases in 156 games back in the old days. Cobb played in 2 tie games that had to be replayed. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and this one is hit to center field, fairly deep. Nelson goes back, and he makes a catch. Nelson Matthews in center field, making the catch. And the Mets now with 1 out, and the batter coming up is Frank Thomas. In that Dodger game, the Cardinals lead 3-2. It's Don Drysdale against Larry Jackson, the game in the bottom half of the second inning. Dodgers with the magic number of 4. They lead the National League. There's the first pitch to Thomas, strike 1 called. And any combination of Dodger victories and San Francisco losses that total up 2-4 will automatically clinch the pennant for the Los Angeles Dodgers. In the American League, the magic number is 2 for the Yankees. There's a curveball that's down low. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 man out. Frank Thomas, who hit into a double play in the first inning, batting for the second time. And the 1-1 pitch. Slow curve hangs high. 2 balls and 1 strike. Frank this year hit in 18 consecutive games to set a new Met record, of course. Only Hank Aaron in the National League has hit in more this season. Here's the 2-1 pitch. It's inside in the count now. 3 balls and 1 strike. Tommy Davis of the Dodgers also hit in 18 consecutive games. Now the 3-1 pitch to Frank. He takes it high for ball 4. And George Guberman walks his third man in the game. And it will bring up Ed Kranepool for the second time. Kranepool bounced to the pitcher his first time up. And he's looking for his first Major League base hit. He appeared in yesterday's game and grounded out. He is 0 for 2 in his Major League career. Left-hand batter. He has a good stance. Looks like he can hit. And he looks at the fastball for strike 1. Ed hit .342 at Auburn in the New York-Pennsylvania State League. That was his first season of professional experience. He's just out of James Monroe High School. There's a throw to first base. Getting back safely is Thomas. He's only 17 years of age. Now the 1-strike pitch. Clears a bouncing ball back to the mound. Taken by the pitcher. The throw to second base. Wild. Thomas there safely. An error on the pitcher. And Kranepool, of course, safe at first base on the fielder's choice there. So now the Mets have the tying run at second base. The go-ahead run at first with 1 out. The batter will be Sammy Drake. Guberman had time to make his throw to second base in time for the forced play. But the throw was toward the runner's side of the bag. And the shortstop who was covering could not get to the ball because of Frank Thomas coming down the line. Thomas slid in. The ball went through to center field. Ramos did not get his glove on it. And the Mets now have runners at first and second with 1 out. And now Guberman into the stretch position and to the plate to Drake. And there's a swing and a foul ball down on Drake's foot. Strike 1. Sammy taking plenty of time to get up. Morris Stevens, a left-hander, throwing in the bullpen now for the Cubs. He's been up before. Cubs have brought up a whole bunch of rookies to take a look at here in the latter part of this season. Now Gus Marsh out to talk to Sammy Drake about his foot. He's okay. Cubs have brought up 20-year-old Danny Murphy, 21-year-old Nelson Matthews, 21-year-old Billy Ott, 26-year-old Freddie Burdette, 22-year-old Morris Stevens, 24-year-old Jim Brewer, and 20-year-old George Guberman, who is now pitching. Also Don Prince, who is 22. Now time is in, and the 1-strike pitch to Sammy Drake. Taken low for ball 1. Drake lined to first base his first time up. He's batting .200. No home runs and 7 runs batted in. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Guberman back to Drake. A curveball pulled down to first, dug out by Ernie Banks. The runners move up, and that is out number 2. Banks making the play at first base by himself. Frank Thomas going to third, and Eddie Kranepool on down to second. So 2 runners in scoring position at second and third as Jim Hickman comes up for the second time. Jim struck out swinging his first time up. He's batting .251 with 13 home runs and 45 runs batted in. On deck batter Rod Keneal. And the first pitch to Jim, a high curveball, ball 1. Frank Thomas came on down the line at third base. And Guberman took a long look at him just before delivering the ball, which might have caused him to throw the pitch wide. First base is open, runners at second and third, and Hickman will be pitched to very carefully. 2 men out. And now Guberman into the windup. His pitch, hit to right center field, not deep. Coming in the right fielder, Billy Ott, and he makes the catch to retire the side. No runs, no hits. No errors, 1 error correction, and 2 men left. And the score at the end, 4 innings of play. The Chicago Cubs won The New York Mets, nothing. And now, once again, here's Lindsey Nelson to tell you about football coming up here at the Polo Grounds.
All right, Ralph Connor, thanks very much. Tickets are now on sale for the New York Titans American Football League home opener with the Denver Broncos, September 30th here at the Polo Grounds. Tickets for all future Titan home games are on sale at all New York Met ticket outlets. Ticket outlets here at the Polo Grounds at Grand Central Station and at Pennsylvania Station. We'll be going now to the top half of the fifth inning, and before we do, in order to allow our stations to identify themselves, we pause now for station identification.
This is WGY Schenectady, where you can hear all the games of the New York Mets. For baseball, for the best in music, for comprehensive, reliable news reporting, stay tuned to WGY.
Bob Miller on the mound for the New York Mets. He will be facing Kuno Barrigan, George Gerberman, and Billy Ott. In the National League, at the end of 5.5 innings, Cincinnati Reds 1, the Philadelphia Phillies nothing. Centurions against Chris Short. The end of 3 innings, the Milwaukee Braves 5, the Pittsburgh Pirates nothing. Tony Cloninger against Bob Friend. Eddie Matthews has hit his 28th home run of the season. Henry Aaron has hit his 42nd homer and his 43rd homer. Willie Mays incidentally hit his 46th last night. He leads the major leagues in home runs. The end of an inning and a half, the St. Louis Cardinals 3, the Los Angeles Dodgers 2. Don Drysdale trying for number 26 against Larry Jackson, and the Giants play the Houston Colt 45s, our latest start. First pitch to Kuno Barrigan is low and away for ball 1. Barrigan's been up one time and he struck out. Bob Miller has struck out 5 incidentally. After allowing a single to Billy Williams in the 4th inning, he struck out the side. Here's a swing and a miss. 1-1. In the American League, at the end of 2 innings, the New York Yankees 1, Chicago White Sox nothing. Stafford against Wynn. Early Wynn going for victory number 300 of the season. Stafford is going number 300 of his career, of course. Stafford is going for number 14 of the season. Pitch to Barrigan is in there for a call strike. 1-2. In the American League, Detroit's at Kansas City in a later start. Boston at Washington postponed because of rain. The end of 4.5 in Baltimore. It's the Baltimore Orioles 2 and the Minnesota Twins 1. Stigman against Estrada. And Cleveland at Los Angeles play the Angels in a later start. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Barrigan. Swung on and chopped off foul. Retrieved by Choo-Choo Coleman. Chicago Cubs 1 and the New York Mets nothing. Top half of the 5th inning. Final game of the season at the Polo Grounds. Again, Bob Miller into the pitching motion. Barrigan swings and misses. Strike 3. He struck him out. Strikeout number 6 for Bob Miller, who now has struck out 4 in a row. Matthews, Santo, Gramus, and Barrigan. And George Gerberman coming up for his 2nd time in the major league. Popped out to first base to Ed Kranepool in the 2nd inning. Miller winds and fires. The fastball is high for ball 1 to Gerberman. And again the pitch. Low in the dirt. Choo-Choo Coleman digs it up. 2-0. Now Miller takes a moment. Behind the rubber, he's looking around the outfield, rubbing up the ball. Trying to get settled down here as he's gone behind 2-0 on the pitcher. Here's a pitch, it's low and away, ball 3. It's out 3 balls and no strikes now to Gerberman. Last time up, Miller got way behind on Gerberman before getting him on the pop. Here comes a 3-0 pitch. It's inside, and he walked him on 4 pitch balls. That is the third walk given up by Bob Miller. Gerberman waits to get the jacket. Going on down to first, putting it on as he goes. So the Cubs get a base runner with 1 man out, and Billy Ott coming up. The young New Yorker has been up twice without a hit. On deck now is Ken Hubbs for the Chicago Cubs. Billy Ott's a left-hand batter. There's a pitch swung, and there's a high pop into center field. Jim Hickman moves in underneath, waiting, and he makes the catch for the out. 2-away. That will bring up Ken Hubbs. Hubbs walked and grounded out, second to first. 2 men out, a runner at first base here, with the Cubs leading by a score of 1-0. Craneville is not holding Gerberman on at first base. Breaking ball swung on, and there's a high fly ball to right center field. Hickman is over, but Christopher calls, and Joe Christopher makes the catch for the out that retires the side. And in the top half of the 5th, the Cubs go out with no runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 left. The end of 4.5 innings of play. The score is Chicago Cubs 1, the New York Mets 0. Well, these are days, of course, when we know you'll want plenty of ice cold Rheingold Extra Dry beer on hand, because Rheingold and relaxation just naturally go together. Why? Well, 2 little words, extra dry, tell you. They tell you that Rheingold is brewed the long, slow, costly way for a taste that's brisk and bright and clean clear through. And because Rheingold is extra dry, it's a quicker thirst quencher. Keeps you cool and relaxed. Enjoy a glass of cold, refreshing Rheingold Extra Dry along with the game. It's beer as beer should taste, and dry tells you why. We'll be going now to the bottom half of the 5th inning, and the New York Mets will send up Rod Kenneal to lead off. He's been up 1 time, and he grounded out. Bob Miller, the New York Mets, struck out 6 in the game thus far. He struck out 8 Giants on June 3rd in 6 2/3 innings. He struck out 7 Giants on August 22nd when he went 7 1/3 innings. That's the longest stint Bob Miller has worked this year. Right now, it is George Gerberman out there on the mound for the Cubs in his first major league start, facing Rod Kenneal. Kenneal moves up, bluffs the bunt, takes the pitch low for ball 1. Right there is center fielder Nelson Matthews to make the catch. So Kenneal has lined out to center field, 1 away, nobody on, and pitcher Bob Miller is due up here. Cubs are leading by a score of 1-0. The Mets have only 1 hit off George Gerberman, and strangely enough, starting the bottom half of the 1st inning, it looked like the Mets might have him out of there in short order, and Morris Stevens was up and throwing in the bullpen for the Cubs because Chacon walked, Choo-Choo Coleman doubled, and the Mets had runners at 2nd and 3rd and nobody out. And Christopher popped out, and Frank Thomas hit a ground ball to 3rd that was turned into a weird double play. And there have been no hits off Gerberman since. That pitch is in there for a called strike. Bob Miller has been up one time and he flied out to center field. That pitch is outside. 1-1. Elio Chacon now on deck for the Mets. Gerberman looking in to get his sign from Ken O'Barrigan. And the 1-1 pitch. It's a swinging strike. He tried to check it, but umpire Dusty Vargas said he brought it around far enough. It's 1-2 now to Miller. The 1-2 pitch sails high. 2-2. Gerberman takes the glove off, rubs the ball up. Now sets, and here's the 2-2 pitch. It's a fastball outside. It's a full count now, 3-2. One man out, nobody on base for the Mets. Miller with the bat cocked and waiting, and here is a payoff pitch. Swung on and fouled back, and coming back is Ken O'Barrigan, hoping for a play, but there is none. It's in the stands, so the count holds full at 3-2. Miller again steps into the batter's box. That foul ball hit in the stands just behind the Cub dugout, and there was a mad scramble for that souvenir. Here's a 3-2 pitch that is low, and he walked him, and the Mets get a base runner. Here in the bottom half of the fifth inning, that is the fourth walk given up by George Gerberman. Puts Miller on at first. He waits for the jacket to be brought out. And now Elio Chacon is coming up. Chacon has been up twice, and he walked both times. Once again, that gets Morris Stevens up and throwing in the bullpen for the Chicago Cubs. Now Dusty Vargas calls time a moment. Giving a little instruction to Elio Chacon. Elio stepping in now. Pitch is in there for a called strike. Bob Miller on at first base has good speed. He has been used a number of times during the season as a pinch runner. There's a breaking ball low into the dirt, and it's 1-1 now to Elio Chacon. Ernie Banks at first base, holding Bob Miller on. Takes a short lead. There's a pitch sailing high. 2-1. In St. Louis, with the Cardinals batting in the bottom of the fourth, it is the St. Louis Cardinals 4 and the Los Angeles Dodgers 2. Don Drysdale against Larry Jackson. Here's a fastball that's low, and it's a 3-ball and 1-strike count. Elio Chacon. These two teams have played 14 games this season. The Mets have won 7 and the Cubs have won 7. This particular series is even at 1 game each. Miller's running. The pitch is high. He walked him. Ball 4, and Miller pulls up safely at second. Chacon goes to first. That's the third time this afternoon Chacon has walked. That is the 5th walk given up by George Gerberman in this, his first Major League appearance. Conference at the mound. Ken O'Barrigan is there. Montano has come over third. Chu Coleman coming up. He slashed a double just inside the bag at first in the first inning. Right out to left field in the bottom half of the third inning. Choo-Choo's a left-hand batter. Steps in now. The Cubs are leading here by a score of 1-0 with the Mets batting in the bottom half of the fifth inning. Choo-Choo watches low and away for ball one. Charlie Mastro is right in the corner of the Cub dugout, watching the proceedings very intently with left-hander Morris Stevens warming up in the bullpen. Coach Buck O'Neill is just beside Charlie Metro in the Cub dugout. Here's a pitch, breaking ball high. It's ball 2. 2-0 to Choo-Choo Coleman with Joe Christopher on deck for the Mets. One man out here. Miller leads at second. Chacon leads at first. 2-0 pitch. Right in there. He was taking. It's 2-1. Mets had 2 men left on in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Without getting a base hit, they have 2 men on now without having managed a base hit in this inning. That's a call strike to Choo-Choo. It's 2-2. Mets have only 1 hit off George Gervin. It came in the first inning, a double by Choo-Choo Coleman, the man at the plate right now. Again, the set position. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and has a high infield pop. Infield fly has been called. The batter is automatically out. It is taken by shortstop Alex Garmas in short center field. There is no advance. 2 men out. That'll bring up Joe Christopher. JSU joined us along the way in St. Louis this afternoon. Maury Wills has stolen his 96th base of the season for the Dodgers to tie a record set by Ty Cobb. 1915 of 96. Pitch is low for a ball. Of course, Banks has long since broken the National League record of 80 stolen bases in a single season. Murray Wills has, that is. Count of 1 ball to Joe Christopher, who has that bad-cocked right-hand batter. Gerberman into the stretch, and here is the pitch. Misses outside, fastball. It's 2-0. Time is called now, and Solly Hemus comes down to pick up a hot dog wrapper that's blown across the field. George Gerberman looking in for the sign. Comes set. Runners lead, first and second. Pitch to Christopher. Swung on and has a little blooper down toward first. And Ernie Banks makes the catch in foul territory to retire the side. Right off the handle of the bat, just flooped down toward first. And in the bottom half of the fifth, the Mets are out with no runs on no hits, no errors, and 2 left. At the end of 5, the score is the Chicago Cubs 1 and the New York Mets nothing. Being New York's largest selling beer, you'd figure that Rheingold had quite a story behind it. But actually, it can be summed up in 2 words, extra dry. Yes, those 2 little words tell you why Rheingold has a flavor all its own. An extra refreshing flavor other beers just don't have. Rheingold brews the long, slow, and costly way, and it makes a big difference in taste. The flavor of Rheingold comes through brisk and bright and clean. It's beer as beer should taste. Any wonder then that millions of people say, my beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. But discover the difference that dry makes yourself. Enjoy fine, cold Rheingold along with the game. Just open up or order up Rheingold Extra Dry. We're going now to the top half of the 6th inning, and the Chicago Cubs will send up Ernie Banks to lead off. In Pittsburgh, the Pirates are batting in the bottom half of the sixth with the Milwaukee Braves leading them by a score of 9-0. Joe Gibbon has relieved Bob Friend. Tony Cloninger is pitching for the Milwaukee Braves. Eddie Matthews has homered, number 28 for him. Henry Aaron has hit 2, numbers 42 and 43. Willie Mays hit his 46th homer last night. Ernie Banks, right-hand batter. Struck out, popped out. Facing right-hander Bob Miller. Breaking ball, swung on. It's a high fly ball. Deep to center field, but gliding back is Jim Hickman, and he puts it away for the out. One away, nobody on. And Billy Williams is coming up now for the Cubs. Batting in the cleanup slot, he has walked and singled. Through 5 innings of play, the Chicago Cubs, 1 run on 2 hits and 1 error. The New York Mets, no runs on 1 hit and no error. Williams swinging a bat as he waits, and here's the pitch. Fastball in there for a called strike. Billy Williams, Rookie of the Year last year in the National League, and has had an even better year this year. Here's a swing and a number down the first baseline. Miller underhands it over to Cranepool in time. He's out. Bob Miller fielded it two-handed and just sort of shoveled it right on over to Cranepool at first base. 2 away, nobody on, and that'll bring up Nelson Matthews. Young center fielder. He singled a drive and a run in the first inning, the only run that has been scored in this game, and he struck out in the 4th. He's a right-hand batter. Miller's pitch is outside for ball 1. New York Mets will be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Tuesday night and Wednesday night. Finish up against the Braves and then move on to Chicago. Here's a swing and a miss. It's 1-1. And the Mets meet the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon to conclude the season. Miller looking in for his sign from Choo-Choo Coleman. Starts the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball way outside and low. It's 2-1. Last winter and spring, when people were asking where you thought the Mets would finish, many times the answer given was they'll finish in Chicago on September 30th, and that's what they're going to do next Sunday afternoon. 2-1 pitch swung on and popped up. Elio Chacon at shorts on the edge of the outfield grass, and he's waiting, and he puts it away for the out that retires the side. Bob Miller gets the Cubs in order in the 6th with no runs on no hits, no errors, and none left. The end of 5 1/2 innings of play. The score is Chicago Cubs 1, the New York Mets nothing. Well, did you ever notice how some ball players have that something extra special? You know, a third baseman who's a great glove man, a batter who has an extra special drag bunt. Well, there's something extra special about our favorite beer, Rheingold Extra Dry. What makes Rheingold extra special? Just 2 words, extra dry. Yes, those 2 words, extra dry, tell you why Rheingold Extra Dry has been New York's favorite beer year after year. Because Rheingold is extra dry, it has a flavor that's brisk and bright and clean clear through. During these hot midsummer days that we've had, and we'll be having Indian summer days coming up, its extra dryness makes Rheingold extra refreshing. You see, Rheingold takes the extra time. It's brewed the long, slow, costly way to brew an extra dry beer. So if you're looking for a beer that's extra refreshing, extra special, and extra dry, treat yourself to delicious, ice-cold, sparkling Rheingold Extra Dry. You'll join the millions who say, my beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. Frank Thomas is going to be up to lead off for the New York Mets. swung on and full foul. It's strike one to Thomas. Frank walked in about in the fourth and the first inning. He hit a ground ball. It was turned into a double play. George Gerberman winds and fires a slow curveball high. So it's Stevens and Burdett now warming for the Chicago Cubs. Swung on and drilled deep to left field, way up there. It's into the upper deck for a home run for Frank Thomas. Number 33. That Frank Thomas has been able to homer off the Chicago Cubs. He has now hit a home run against every team in the National League. But that is his first one against Chicago, number 33 this season for Frank Thomas. And the score is tied here, 1-1. Ed Cranepool, left-hand batter at the plate. Gerberman's pitch swung on. That's a ground ball to second base. Taken by Kenny Hudson. He plays on over to Ernie Banks in time. There's one away. Nobody on, and Sammy Drake will be coming up. That ball by Thomas was lined into the upper deck for his 33rd home run of this season. Sammy Drake batting left. Burdett and Stevens throwing in the bullpen. That pitch is low for ball. Cubs have one run on two hits, and the Mets now have one run on two hits. And it is a ground ball. That is taken by Kenny Hubbs. He throws on to first, but not in time. He beat it out for a base hit. Kenny Hubbs handled it cleanly, but simply not in time to get the speedy Sammy Drake. Hubbs had to move forward to his right to make the play on the ball. And now Charlie Metro is on his way to the mound. Got right-hander Burdett and left-hander Stevens throwing in the bullpen. And the sign is going to the bullpen. So that'll be all for George Gerberman and his first Major League start. And it is going to be Burdett, I believe. George Gerberman, in his first Major League start, has pitched 5 1/3 innings, which he has given up 1 run on 3 hits, struck out 1, and walked 5. Here is the official paid attendance for this, the final home game of the season. 10,304 paid, service and press 580, total in the ballpark 10,884, a fine turnout for the final day of the season here at the Polo Grounds. Coming in is Freddie Burdett from Albany, Georgia. He is 26 years of age, pitched at San Antonio in the Texas League this season. He won 9 and he lost 9. He was in 65 games, 64 in relief. He led the league in that department. So Freddie Burdett being brought on here in relief. And Gerberman is going out of the game, getting a hand here at the Polo Grounds, as he does. And right now, in order to allow our stations to identify themselves, we pause now for station identification.
This is WGY Schenectady 810 on your dial, where the time is now 3 minutes past 4 o'clock.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Bob Murphy and Ralph Kiner at the Polo Grounds, where the Cubs have just made a pitching change, bringing on Freddie Burdett, a right-hander who is firing him down now. He will be facing Jim Hickman. One man out, and Sammy Drake, the base runner at first. Apparently Charlie Metro had decided that Gerberman had gone about as far as he wanted to let him go, because Actually, Drake beat out a ground ball that was fielded cleanly by Kenny Hubbs going to his right. But Gerberman had walked 5 in this game, and he struck out only 1. Score tied here, 1-1. In the bottom of the 6th. Burdett now looking in to get his sign from catcher Kuno Berrigan. Ernie Banks is holding Drake on at first base. And here's the pitch to the plate. Breaking ball that is outside for ball 1. Well, they feed Jim Hickman a great many breaking balls. That one just missing. Rod Keneal is on deck now for the Mets. Burdett into a set position as Drake leads off the bag at first. And the pitch. Swung on as a ground ball to third. Ron Santo up with it. Plays across the Hubbs. He's out to throw to first. Off the bag and by Banks. And heading for second base is Jim Hickman. Trying to retrieve the ball is catcher Kuno Berrigan. Hickman holds it second as Berrigan comes up with it. The force was affected on the lead man. Drake at second, and that play went 5-4. But the relay from Hubbs on over to first got by. It is an error on the throw on Kenny Hubbs, and that puts Hickman at second base with 2 men out and Rod Keneal coming up. The error on Hubbs, of course, is for allowing Hickman to advance from first to second. You cannot presume the double play. No error for allowing him to reach first. He got there on the fielded choice, but it moved to second now on the wide throw, and that brings up Rod Keneal, a right-hand batter. And they're going to put him on with first base open, and pitcher Bob Miller due up next. Rod Keneal is being intentionally passed. No action in the bullpen at all of the New York Mets. Ball 2 to Rod Keneal. It's out to 3 balls. And Keneal has been intentionally walked. And Bob Miller is coming up. Miller's been up twice. He flied out to center field, and he walked. Mets now have runners at first and second. That intentional pass, the first walk, of course, given up by Freddie Burdett. Miller is a right-hand batter. Pitch to Miller. Swung on, has a high-hopping ground ball to short. It's taken by Gramus. He plays over to Hubbs in time for the fourth. That retires the side. So, in the bottom half of the 6th, the New York Mets got 1 run on 2 hits. There was 1 error and 1 man left. And so at the end of 6 full innings of play, the score is the New York Mets 1, the Chicago Cubs 1, and coming in here now, Bob Murphy.
Thank you very much, Lindsay. We'll be going along to the 7th inning. Real good ball game going, all tied up now, 1-1. Frank Thomas belting his 33rd home run of the season to even things up. Well, next year, the New York Mets will be playing their home games in their beautiful new surroundings, beautiful new Flushing Meadow Stadium out on Long Island. And work on the new stadium has progressed to the extent that the New York Mets are now accepting applications for season boxes and combination plan tickets. Prospective purchasers may send names and addresses to ticket manager, Polo Grounds, New York 39. Application blanks will be mailed them. Present subscribers need not apply because applications will be mailed to you. So this, in all probability, is the final National League ball game for the historic old Polo Grounds. Say, do you know why Rheingold tastes so good? Well, dry tells you why. It tells you that Rheingold is brewed the long, slow, costlier way for a flavor that's brisk and bright and clean, clear through. But why not find that out for yourself? Enjoy a cold glass of Rheingold right now along with the game. In the 7th inning, the Chicago Cubs will have Ron Santo leading off against right-hander Bob Miller. Sano has been up twice, bounced into a force play and been struck out. He's 0 for 2. Now Miller looking in to get his sign. Bob out of his windup. Here's the pitch. Right in there, call strike one. Next pitch on the way. A little bit outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Game tied 1-1. We're in the top of the 7th inning. This is the rubber game of the 3-game series, and also the winner in this game today will have the edge in the season series, 8 games to 7. The final 3 games will wind up the season for the New York Mets and Chicago Cubs next weekend in Wrigley Field. Inside, 1-2 the count. Lou Klein on the coaching lines at first. Charlie Metro, who has been running the Cubs since the 4th of June, longest tenure for a Cub head coach, is on the lines at third, directing his ball club. Now here's the windup, 2-1 delivery. Swing and a miss, and the count is even at 2-2. Alex Grammas, the on-deck batter, and then Cuno Berrigan. Now the 2-2 pitch. A line smash towards short, taken on a hop by Elio Chacon. The peg to Cranepool is in time, 1 down. 1 away, nobody on now in the top of the 7th inning, and the hitter will be Alex Grammas. Grammas has flied to left and taken a call, 3rd strike. Bob Miller has walked 3 and struck out 6. Bob has given up only 2 hits. A first-inning single by Nelson Matthews and a single in the 4th inning by Billy Williams. One away, nobody on. Overcast now has broken up, sun shining brightly. Miller winds, delivers to the plate, and the fastball is over at the knees for a call strike. Tomorrow will be an off day. The Mets will be in Milwaukee Tuesday night and Wednesday night and wind up the season next weekend in Chicago. Pitch thrown is swung and foul tipped, and the count strike 2 now on Alex Grammas. Bob Miller on the mound for New York. Blonde right-hander who now lives in St. Petersburg, Florida during the offseason. 2-strike delivery. Ground ball to shortstop. Chacon backs up for it, juggles it for a moment, throws. Safe. Cranepool pulled off the bag at first base. Ed Cranepool stretching out to grab the throw. The throw, which was a hurried throw, was wide on the home plate side of the bag, and Cranepool's foot was pulled off the bag as he went out to get the throw. So Alex Grammas is safe at first. Now Bob Miller and Choo-Choo Coleman get together. It'll be an error on the play. On the throw by Elio Chacon. And now we're going to get a pinch hitter for the Chicago Cubs. George Altman is coming out, and he'll hit for Cuno Berrigan. George Altman batting for Cuno Berrigan. Altman hitting at .313 on the year with 22 home runs and 73 runs batted in. He's a very strong hitter. Bats left-handed. They play him to pull with the infield and the outfield swung around toward right. Now Cranepool holding against the runner, and the pitch is bounced foul, no play. New York, 1 run, 3 hits, and 1 error. Chicago, 1 run, 2 hits, and 2 errors. It's all over. The New York Giants have beaten the Philadelphia Eagles. Final score, 29-13. Foul ball right back to the screen, and the count strike 2 now on George Altman. The New York Giants have defeated the Philadelphia Eagles. The final score, 29-13. Bob Miller with a 2-strike count now on the pinch hitter, George Altman. Game tied 1-1. We're in the top half of the 7th inning. Now Miller up in pitching position. Delivers outside and low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Warm-up action continuing for the Chicago Cubs with the pitcher scheduled up next. Now Miller off the stretch, delivers to Altman. He swing and a miss. He struck him out. That is strikeout number 7 for Bob Miller. And now let's see who comes on to hit. Danny Murphy is around the bat rack. Danny, a left-hand hitter, played right field in the first 2 games of this series. Now Choo-Choo Coleman goes out to the mound while we wait for the pinch hitter to come out of the dugout. Maury Stevens continuing to warm up in the bullpen, and the Cub bullpen now wants a sign from Charlie Metro as to which pitcher should be working hard out there.
Your attention, please. Ladies and gentlemen, for Chicago,
In addition to Maury Stevens, Don Elston is warming up. And Danny Murphy will now bat for the pitcher. Danny Murphy, left-hand hitter. He was given a large bundle of money to sign when he came out of high school in Beverly, Massachusetts. Taken high, 1 ball and no strikes. Danny was scouted and signed by Lenny Murillo, former Chicago Cub shortstop. Infield and the outfield swung around toward right. Ed Cranepool back toward fielding position. Inside and a high ball, 2-0 now on Danny Murphy. So we'll have either Don Elston or Maury Stevens coming in to pitch for the Cubs in the 7th inning. Ed Cranepool back toward fielding depth, not holding against Gramus with the left-hand hitter, Danny Murphy up. Now the 2-0 delivery, right in there for a called strike, 2-1. Chicago scored in the opening inning of the game. They have been shut out since by Bob Miller. And the Mets tied the game up on a home run by Frank Thomas. Frank hitting his 33rd of the year. Two and one now on Danny Murphy. Here's the pitch on the way, a curve that is swung and missed, and the count is even at 2-2. At the end of the 3rd quarter, the Cleveland Browns lead the Washington Redskins 13-10. Green Bay Packers lead the St. Louis Cardinals 10-0 at the end of the 3rd quarter. And the Detroit Lions lead the San Francisco 49ers 24-10 at the half. Dallas 7, Pittsburgh nothing, a first quarter score. And the Baltimore Colts lead the Minnesota Vikings 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. The New York Giants beat the Philadelphia Eagles, final score 29-13. 2-2 pitch by Miller is hammered foul in behind Lou Klein, the first base coach. Magic number in the American League is 2 games for the Yankees to nail down the pennant, and the magic number for the Dodgers, 4 games. The Dodgers have now fallen behind the Cardinals in today's game, 8-2 at the end of 4 innings. Drysdale, the starter, was knocked out of the box, and Ron Peronowski took over. Now the 2-2 pitch. Outside, it's ball 3, and we have a full count of 3-2 on the pinch hitter, Danny Murphy. Danny Murphy was in the Northwest League this season playing with Wenatchee. Last year, the Chicago Cubs had him in San Antonio. Left-hand batter. There goes the runner, and the pitch is strike 3 call. That's strikeout number 8 for Bob Miller. 3-2 pitch, a fastball over at the knees, and the side is out. So Bob Miller, over 7 innings, now has struck out 8 men. He has given up only 2 singles. In the 7th inning, no runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 left on. At the end of 6.5 innings, the score, the Chicago Cubs won and the New York Mets won. You know, the pipe tobacco for relaxing in a man's world is Sir Walter Raleigh. Now, whether you're at the ballpark or listening to the broadcast at home, you'll enjoy Sir Walter from the very first pipeful. Now, here's a tobacco with real aroma and a good natural flavor. Sir Walter's flavor comes from a special blend of choice Kentucky burley tobaccos, extra aged to their peak of mildness. Sir Walter Raleigh is known as the brand of grand aroma. It's kept fresh, too, 44% fresher in the new pouch pack. You'll like Sir Walter's pouch pack. And when you're at home or at the office, you'll like Sir Walter Raleigh in the exclusive knob-top vacuum pack canisters. These humidor canisters keep Sir Walter Raleigh factory fresh. Get Sir Walter Raleigh in the new pouch pack or in the exclusive knob-top canisters, large economy size or half canister. Sir Walter Raleigh smells grand, packs right, smokes sweet, can't bite. So relax in a man's world with Sir Walter Raleigh, the quality pipe tobacco. Now a new battery for the Chicago Cubs on the mound. Veteran relief specialist Don Elston, and behind the plate, Dick Bertel. While Don throws in his warm-up tosses, we'll bring you up to date on other games. They're in the last of the 9th inning in Philadelphia now, with Cincinnati leading the Phillies 2-1. Bill Henry relieved John Saturas in the 9th inning, and Chris Short pitching for Philadelphia. Frank Robinson put Cincinnati in front when he hit his 39th home run of the year in the 8th inning. The Milwaukee Braves lead the Pittsburgh Pirates 10-1 after 6.5. Henry Aaron has homered twice, and Eddie Matthews hit 1. Cardinals lead the Dodgers 8-2 at the end of 4. Larry Jackson on the mound for the Cardinals. Peronowski relieved Don Drysdale. In the American League, at the end of 6 innings, Bill Stafford has the White Sox shut out, with the Yankees leading Chicago 1-0. Early Wynn is the mound opponent of Bill Stafford, with Burley Early trying for his 300th victory. Detroit 2, Kansas City nothing at the end of 2. A Gary against Fisher. The Red Sox and Senators rained out in Washington. They're in the last of the 8th inning in Baltimore. The Minnesota Twins came up with 5 in the 8th inning, and they lead the Orioles now 6-2 after 7.5 innings. In the game, Killebrew has hit his 45th home run of the year. He's one behind the Major League leader, Willie Mays. Now, Elio Chacon leads off the last of the 7th, and the pitch by Don Elston is over. Strike 1 call. Now Elston out of his windup, delivers a little bit low. Elio lays off, and the count is even. 1 ball, 1 strike. Don Elston is the third pitcher Charlie Metro has used in the game. Only 5 hits in the entire game. Mets have 3 and the Cubs 2. He's up as if to bunt. Doesn't offer, but the pitch is over for a call strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, the Mets have seen a great deal of Don Elston this year. They already have faced him on 10 different occasions. And these two teams still have 3 games to go out in Chicago. Pitch is over, strike 3 call. Elio Chacon called out on strikes. 1 away and nobody on. Now coming on will be Clarence Choo-Choo Coleman. Don Elston has won 4 and lost 8. But he has an earned run average of less than 3 earned runs per 9 innings. He's given up only about 2.5 runs per 9 innings. He has given up fewer hits than innings pitched. Struck out more than he has walked. The windup and pitch to Choo-Choo, a little bit low. 1 ball and no strikes. Cubs will have the next 2 days off, and then they'll be opening their final homestand against the Phillies. A high fly ball. It may go foul down the right field line and on the roof, a foul ball. Foul ball up on the roof. Choo-Choo making a strong bid to break the tie. Last half of the 7th inning, game tied 1-1. Rubber game of the 3-game series. Now Don Elston, as he starts to go into his windup, one of the gusts of wind swirls some dirt around him, so we have to wait for a moment. One of the windiest days we've had all year, and the wind is blowing in. Feels a little bit as though it might have sharpened its fangs on an ice cube. Ball 2, 2-1. Joe Christopher, the on-deck batter, and then Frank Thomas. Elston cranks up, delivers, and Choo-Choo lets it go, and it's outside. Ball 3, 3-1. Well, Frank Thomas of the New York Mets has 5 games to hit 2 more home runs, and if he does so, he will equal his career high. Frank now has 33. And he's hit at least 1 against every club in the circuit. 3-1 delivery. Foul ball again. That's going to be over the roof and out of play. Choo-Choo, a pull hitter, getting out in front a little bit too much. He's hit 2 over the roof now that have gone foul. One away, nobody on in the last half of the 7th. Ground ball on the right side. Kenny Hubbs bobbles the ball, and Choo-Choo is on. Kenny Hubbs bobbling the grounder after running to his glove side to get there. And Choo-Choo Coleman, extremely fast, is safe at first. It'll be an error charged to Kenny Hubbs, the second that he has drawn in the game. Now Joe Christopher stepping in. Let's have Coleman on first, 1 down. Game tied up 1-1. Don Elston up in pitching position. The right-hander delivers. A smash caught in the air by Elston, thrown to first for a double play. Another soft line drive hit right back to Don Elston, and he doubles up Choo-Choo Coleman. In the 7th inning, the Mets are out with no runs, no hits, 1 error, and none left on. So 7 innings complete. And the score, the Chicago Cubs 1 and the New York Mets 1. Say, if you haven't done so, I'm sure you'll want to get your copy of the completely revised edition of the New York Mets yearbook. You may get your copy by mail simply by addressing your correspondence to Mets Yearbook, the Polo Grounds, New York 39, enclosed 50 cents. You'll want it as a memento of the return of the National League and the New York Mets to New York City. And you'll find it a lot of fun to glance through from time to time during the winter, during the Hot Stove League sessions. It has pictures and biographies of Casey Stengel, the coaches, and all the members of the New York Mets, and also historical data about many of the great sports events that have taken place over the years, football and boxing as well as baseball here in the Polo Grounds. So if you haven't done so, I'm sure you'll want to get your copy of the revised edition of the 1962 New York Mets yearbook. In the 8th inning, the Chicago Cubs will have Billy Ott, the rookie right fielder, coming out to lead off against Bob Miller. Billy Ott has been up 3 times, twice grounded out to Ed Kranepool and flied to center, so he is 0 for 3. Billy, a New York boy, had a good year playing for San Antonio in the Texas League. Left-hand batter with good power. Game tied 1-1. It's the 8th inning. Strike one. Miller started him off with a curveball. Ott tried to get it. Kenny Hubbs, the on-deck batter, and then Ernie Banks. Now Bob Miller takes his sign from Choo-Choo Coleman. And the pitch on the way. Inside and low. 1 ball, 1 strike. New York 1 run on 3 hits. Chicago 1 run and 2 hits. Cubs tallied their run in the 1st inning. The 1-1 pitch, and he pops the ball up. Clarence Coleman gets rid of the mask. He's in foul ground near home plate. And he makes the catch right in the fungo circle. One away and nobody on now in the top of the 8th inning. The batter is Kenny Hubbs. Kenny drew a walk and later scored Chicago's lone run back in the 1st inning. Since then, he has grounded out second to first and flied to right. Kenny Hubbs, right-hand hitter. He's had a good year, not only defensively, but also offensively. Swing and a miss, strike one. Last year, he was in Class B. He played at Wenatchee. Batted .286. Then right after the season was over, he went to Arizona for the Winter League and had a real good season there. Now he holds up, and the pitch breaks over the outside corner for a strike. The Winter Leagues have become more and more popular and more important to the Major League clubs. Minnesota Twins climbing high in the standings this year, and Rich Rollins and Bernie Allen both gained a lot of instruction and experience in the Winter Leagues last season. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Next pitch by Miller, a swing and a miss. He struck him out. And that is the 9th strikeout for Bob Miller. So Bob has reached a seasonal high in strikeouts in 1 ball game. Earlier this year, Bob struck out 8 of the San Francisco Giants. That was on the 3rd of June in 6 2/3 innings. This is now the furthest that he has gone in a ball game this year. Prior to this game, his longest effort was 7 1/3. Now Ernie Banks hitting. Ernie 0 for 3. Fly deep to center field his last time up. Miller winding, delivers to the plate. Low and outside. It's ball 1. Fly ball to left field, not too deep. Frank Thomas looking through the glasses, jogging in, makes the catch, and the side is out. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left on. And now at the end of 7.5 innings, the score: the New York Mets won and the Chicago Cubs won. Now the last of the 8th inning, and Frank Thomas will be the leadoff batter against Don Elston. Frank hit a home run, a drive going into the upper deck his last time at bat, and that tied this ball game up at 1-1. The home run was the 33rd of the year and the 91st RBI for Frank Thomas. Now Frank being recognized as he strides to home plate. Final score: the defending champion Green Bay Packers defeated the St. Louis Cardinals 17-0. So two final scores are in. The New York Giants defeated the Philadelphia Eagles 29-13, and the Green Bay Packers have beaten St. Louis 17-0. They're in the fourth quarter now, with the Cleveland Browns leading Washington 13-10. Now Don Elston into his windup to pitch to Thomas, over at the knees for a strike. Last night, the New York Titans defeated the Buffalo Bills 17-6 for their second American Football League victory. Inside and high. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. Last half of the 8th inning. Tie game 1-1. Ed Kranepool is on deck, and then Sammy Drake. In the dirt. No damage done. Well, here's an upset. The Washington Redskins, coming from behind in the fourth quarter, have upset the Cleveland Browns 17-16. Thomas swings and misses, strike 3. Final score: the Redskins 17 and the Browns 16. Boy, there'll be some joy in the nation's capital. That is quite an upset for the Redskins. Now Ed Kranepool is up against right-hander Don Elston. Bounces it foul off the shin guard of the plate umpire, Dusty Boggess. 1 strike count on Ed Kranepool. Nothing Ed would enjoy more than getting his first Major League base hit. Kranepool waiting, takes it outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Mets will have tomorrow off. They'll be in action in Milwaukee on Tuesday night. We'll be on the air from County Stadium, Milwaukee at 8:55 New York time. Line drive, base hit, going down the left field line for Ed Kranepool. He's on his way to second. And Kranepool is in, standing up with a double. Well, there is a moment to remember for 17-year-old Ed Kranepool. He hit the ball hard. A low liner between Ron Sano and the bag and down the left field line into the corner. A 2-base hit, and now the tie-breaking run is on second base. So at the age of 17 and in his 5th official time at bat, Ed Kranepool has his first Major League hit. Now Sammy Drake is up, and they're going to put him on. First base open with one out, and Sammy Drake will receive the intentional pass. Jim Hickman waiting in the on-deck circle. Charlie Metro has a left-hander and a right-hander cranking up in the bullpen. Game tied 1-1. There's ball 4 outside, and Drake draws the intentional pass. That will bring up Jim Hickman. Now we have a conference on the mound. The infield gathering around Don Elston as they go over things. The double by Ed Cranepool, the 4th hit for the New York Mets. They have a chance now to break the tie here in the last half of the 8th inning. Now the stretch. And the pitch on the way. A strike on the outside corner. Rod Keneal in the on-deck circle. Mets tied this game in the 6th inning on the home run by Frank Thomas. Are now trying to grab the lead in the last of the 8th inning. Cranepool leading off second. Drake off first. Outside and low. 1 ball, 1 strike to Jim Hickman. Jim 0 for 3 has struck out, fly to right, and reached on a force play. Count 1-1, and the pitch is in the dirt. No advance on the baselines. The curve breaking too far outside, and the count now is 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, in St. Louis, little Maury Wills is making history. Maury has stolen 2 bases this afternoon to hike his total to 97 stolen bases. This for the Dodgers is their 156th game. When Ty Cobb stole 96, he stole the 96 in 156 games. Two and 1 the count on Jim Hickman. Amazing when you think of it. 97 stolen bases. Now the stretch. And the pitch to Hickman is swung and missed. Count is even now, 2-2. Jim went after a curveball. Washington Redskins beat the Cleveland Browns 17-16 on a 50-yard scoring play in the 4th quarter. A pass from Norman Snead to Bobby Mitchell. The 2-2 delivery is fouled off. He barely got a piece of it. They're in the last of the 8th inning in Chicago with the Yankees leading the White Sox 1-0 in the pitching duel between Bill Stafford and Early Wynn. Early trying for his 300th victory. This has been a rather luckless year for Early Wynn. He has pitched very well and has lost a number of low-scoring pitching duels. He got beat 1-0 on one occasion when Bill Monbouquet hurled a no-hitter. Now the 2-2 pitch. Inside, it's ball 3. And we have a full count, 3-2 on Jim Hickman. 3-2. Game tied 1-1, last half of the 8th inning, and now Hickman has something in his eye, and Jim has to ask for time to try and remove it. And Dusty Bogus, a nice man, says, "Here, I'll loan you my handkerchief." Now the stretch. The 3-2 pitch. Foul ball, back upstairs, no play. Final home game of the season. 5 games remaining for the New York Mets. 2 night games in Milwaukee and 3 day games in Chicago. Next weekend will be a very busy weekend, though, for the Polo Grounds. The Army-Syracuse game next Saturday in the Polo Grounds, and then on Sunday, the New York Titans and Denver Broncos. Pitching 3-2. Ball 4, it's low, and it loads him up. Marv Throneberry is coming out of the dugout. And Marv will hit for Rod Cannell. Marv Throneberry is coming out to bat for Rod Cannell with the bases loaded, 1 man out in the last of the 8th inning. Now Charlie Metro is coming out of the dugout. So they get a pitching change. Jim Brewer has been warming up in the bullpen. He's a southpaw pitcher. And let's see if Charlie Metro brings him in to pitch to the left-hander, Marv Throneberry. Now Metro takes the ball, so this will be all for Don Elston. And Jim Brewer will be coming in. Charlie Metro going with the percentages, left-hander against left-hander. Don Elston, third Chicago pitcher in the game, pitched the 7th inning and is leaving the scene here in the 8th inning with 1 out. So he worked 1 1/3. At the moment has allowed no runs, given up 1 hit, the double by Ed Cranepool. Cranepool got things going here in the 8th inning with a double down the left field line. Elston walked 2 and struck out 2. So now Jim Brewer is coming on in relief for the Chicago Cubs. In other games, the Cincinnati Reds slowed down the Philadelphia Phillies, winning 4-2. They won the game in 10 innings, winning it on a 2-run homer in the 10th by Vada Penson. Dave Sisler, the winner, and the loser in relief was Art Mahaffey. The Milwaukee Braves beat Pittsburgh 10-3. Tony Cloninger all the way for the victory. Henry Aaron homered twice. He now has 43 for the year. Now Throneberry will be called back, and Mantilla will face the left-hander. At the end of 6 innings in St. Louis, the Cardinals now lead the Dodgers 11-2. Drysdale, Peronowski, Smith, and now Rickert for the Dodgers. Larry Jackson pitching for St. Louis. San Francisco and Houston not yet underway. In the American League, they're in the last of the 8th in Chicago. The Yankees lead the White Sox 1-0. Bill Stafford dueling early win. Tigers 2, Kansas City 1 at the end of 4. Hank Gary against Bill Fisher. Red Sox and Senators rained out in Washington. The Minnesota Twins down the Baltimore Orioles 9-2. They scored 8 of their 9 runs in the last 2 innings. Stigman the winner and Estrada the loser. Home runs by Power, Killebrew, and Allison. For Harmon Killebrew is 45th. He's 1 behind the Major League leader, Willie Mays. The warm-ups on the West Coast for Cleveland, Jim Perry, and for the Los Angeles Angels, Dean Chance. In pro football, the New York Giants defeated the Philadelphia Eagles 29-13. The Green Bay Packers blanked the St. Louis Cardinals 17-0. The Washington Redskins coming from behind on a 50-yard pass play from Norman Snead to Bobby Mitchell. Then the extra point beat Cleveland 17-16. At the half, Detroit 24, San Francisco 10. First quarter score, the Dallas Cowboys 7 and Pittsburgh Steelers nothing. Baltimore Colts 7, Minnesota Vikings nothing, a first quarter score. Now the hitter is Felix Mantilla. Throneberry announced, then the pitching changed to Jim Brewer, and now Mantilla as the pinch hitter for Throneberry. And we're going to get a pinch runner. Rick Hersher is going around to third, and I believe he'll run for Ed Kranepool. Ed Kranepool coming out of the game, and Hersher will run for him, and here's the hand for Ed Kranepool. Ed Kranepool got things started with his first Major League base hit, a double down the left field line. Now left-hander Jim Brewer is on to pitch for the Chicago Cubs. Bases loaded, one man down. Batter is Felix Mantilla. Cubs have the infield at double play depth. Inside and high, it's ball one. Brewer has won none and lost none. This is the sixth ball game he has been in since he came back from Salt Lake. Now he winds the pitch to Mantilla. A high pop foul outside third. May be playable. Santo has room, and he makes the catch. Ron Santo makes the grab in foul ground. So Mantilla has been retired on the pop foul caught over on the warning track. Now Bob Miller is scheduled to hit. We have warm-up action in the bullpen. Bill Hunter and Ray Davio are both warming up in the bullpen. Gil Hodges down around the bat rack. Game tied 1-1. We're in the last half of the eighth inning. Charlie Metro is coming out of the dugout now. Gil Hodges is coming out to hit. Working in the bullpen. Charlie Metro is on the mound talking with his catcher Dick Bertel and with the pitcher Jim Brewer. And Brewer will stay in the game and face Gil Hodges. Unless the Mets can score here in the last of the eighth inning, Bob Miller cannot win the game. Nor can he lose. Miller has pitched a great ball game, just 2 hits over 8 innings. Here we go. The base is loaded. 2 down. Gil Hodges the batter. Jim Brewer into his windup. And the pitch on the way. A call strike, knee high on the outside corner. Gil sidelined for over 2 months as the result of surgery to remove a kidney stone. Hersher, the lead runner, on third. Next pitch to Hodges. Strike 2 called. He came right in there knee high with it. Now Jim Brewer with a 2-strike count. Casey Stengel has Bill Hunter and Ray Davio both working in the bullpen. Bob Anderson and Glenn Hobby warming up for the Cubs. Game tied 1-1, last of the eighth inning. Now the 2-strike delivery. He struck him out. Gil goes down swinging on a curve, and the side is out. Strong relief pitching by Jim Brewer as he got Felix Mantilla on a foul pop-up and strikes out Gil Hodges to retire the side. In the eighth inning, no runs, 1 hit, a double by Ed Kranepool, no errors, and 3 left on. So at the end of 8 innings, the score, the Chicago Cubs won and the New York Mets won. Now Casey will be coming out to give umpire Dusty Bogus the changes in the New York Mets lineup, and we'll be passing them along to you. Remember that next Saturday here in the Polo Grounds, the Army-Syracuse game, and the Corps of Cadets will be putting on one of their memorable parades prior to the ball game. Army, under new head coach Paul Dietzel, off to a fast start, winning big over Wake Forest yesterday. Syracuse losing a tough 7-3 verdict to Bud Wilkinson's Oklahoma Sooners. That's Army and Syracuse next Saturday in the Polo Grounds. A week from today, next Sunday in the Polo Grounds, it will be the New York Titans in their home opener in the American Football League, and they'll be entertaining the Denver Broncos. Say, there's no time like the present, and what better way to use it than to pour yourself a tall, cold glass of Rheingold. You know, Rheingold is beer as beer should taste, and dry tells you why. So enjoy a friendly glass of Rheingold Extra Dry along with the game. Roger Craig takes over the pitching. Roger wasn't down in the bullpen. Davio and Hunter were warming up in the bullpen. I don't recall Roger throwing any pitches at all in the bullpen. Gil Hodges will now be at first. Felix Mantilla is now playing second. Elio Chacon at short and Sammy Drake at third. So we'll be going along now to the 9th inning, game tied up 1-1. Billy Williams will be leading off against Roger Craig. Well, Bob Miller can neither win nor lose. It's been a luckless season for Bob Miller. He turned in a tremendous pitching job here this afternoon. He allowed only 2 singles over 8 innings. He struck out 9 men. Billy Williams up against Roger Craig. We're in the 9th. He holds up, and the breaking pitch is low, ball 1. Next pitch on the way. Drives him back from the plate. Ball 2, 2-0. Billy Williams has drawn a walk, single to center, and bounced out. He's 1 for 2. Line drive to right field. This is sinking in. It's going to be a base hit. Joe Christopher up with it in right field, and Billy Williams has led off the 9th with a single. Now the hitter is the center fielder, Nelson Matthews. Single to center field in the first inning, driving in the Cubs' lone run. Since then has taken a call, third strike, and popped to short. He's around to bunt. Bunts, fair ball. Craig off the mound. The play goes to first. Mantilla covering on the throw. And they successfully move Billy Williams over to second base. So now with 1 away, the Chicago Cubs have the potential tie-breaking run on second. The hitter will be Ron Sano, the third baseman. Sano hitless in 3 times up, hitting at .230. Bounced into a force play in the first inning, struck out in the 4th, and grounded out short to first in the 7th inning. Curve is over, strike 1. Now the pitch on the way. A ground ball hit toward the hole. Chacon deep in the hole. Makes the long throw. He's out at first base. Gil Hodges going out to meet the throw. And Sano is out on a play made from the edge of the grass over in the hole at shortstop. Real good play by Elio Chacon. 2 down now in the top of the 9th inning. catcher just standing motionless, looking in for his sign. Billy Williams leading off second. And the pitch is a slow grounder hit back to the mound. Roger Craig has it, throws to first, the side is out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on. And now the score at the end of 8.5 innings. The Chicago Cubs 1 and the New York Mets 1. Now we'll be going along to the last half of the 9th inning. The New York Mets coming up, hoping to win it. The score all tied up 1-1. And out to carry the rest of the way on play-by-play, Lindsey Nelson.
All right, Bob, we'll be going here to the bottom half of the 9th inning, and Elio Chacon will be coming up to lead off for the New York Mets. Elio has been up 4 times. He walked the first 3 times up, struck out in the 7th inning. He's nothing for 1 today. Right-hand batter. Jim Brewer, left-hander, still in there for the Chicago Cubs. Andre Rogers has come out now to play shortstop. Andre Rogers playing short since Alex Grammas was pulled out for pinch hitter Bob Will. Score tied. The Cubs 1 and the Mets 1. Jim Brewer into the windup. Here's the pitch to Elio. It's high and away for ball 1. Through 8 1/2 innings of play, the Cubs 1 run on 3 hits and 3 errors. The Mets 1 run on 4 hits and 1 error. Jim Brewer winds and fires, and the pitch is outside for ball. It's 2-0. Choo-Choo Coleman is on deck for the Mets. Elio waiting, holding that bat high as Brewer starts to pitch, and it swung on and missed. He tried to hold it up. It brought it around far enough, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Chacon. Mets trying to get a base runner some way anyway here in the bottom half of the 9th inning. The 2-1 pitch. Swung on. That's a ground ball to third. Second by Santo. He plays it across to Ernie Banks in time, and he's out. 1 away. And that will bring up Choo-Choo Coleman, a left-hand batter. Choo-Choo doubled. It's just inside the bag at first base in the first inning. He flied to left. He popped to short, and he was on an error by Ken Hubbs. Coming up here in the bottom half of the 9th inning. 1 week ago last night, Choo-Choo won 1 in the bottom half of the 9th inning for the New York Mets over the Cincinnati Reds with a home run. Here's a ground ball, hits the bag, bounce high in the air, down the right field line. Choo-Choo rounds first, he's heading for second. Kenny Hubbs goes to second. Choo-Choo slides in under a high throw. He's safe at second base. Choo-Choo Coleman with another double. This one hit the bag. So the Mets have a base runner at second. 1 man out, and Joe Christopher coming up. That was a slashing ground ball that hit the bag at first, bounded high over the head of Ernie Banks and on down the line and right. Second baseman Kenny Hubbs retrieved the ball through high to second, and Choo-Choo slid in safely with a double. Now Charlie Metro is on his way to the mound. Charlie Metro on his way to the mound now. He has a right-hand batter here, Joe Christopher. He has a left-hand pitcher in there, and he's going to go to the bullpen. He's got all sorts of business going in the bullpen right now, so we'll tell you in a moment who he's going to bring in. But that is all for Jim Brewer, who is out of the ball game now. Brewer was the 4th Cub pitcher of the day. Young George Gerberman started, relieved by Freddie Burdette, then Don Elston, Jim Brewer. Frank Thomas moves out to the on-deck circle now for the New York Mets. Conference at the mound as Charlie Metro is there with catcher Dick Purcell. Brewer, Ernie Banks has moved over. Joe Christopher leading on the bat there as Dusty Bogus, the umpire, has gone all the way out to the mound and is talking to Charlie Metro there.
And it's going to be Bob Anderson as Jim Brewer goes out of the game. Jim Brewer is leaving the game, headed for the Cub dugout. And blonde Bob Anderson has come on to relieve him here in the bottom half of the ninth inning. Charlie Metro turns and heads back toward the Cub dugout now. Anderson now starts his warm-ups, warming up here from a set position because he'll be working with a man on base. And he'll be facing Joe Christopher. Anderson is the fifth Cub hurler of the afternoon. Jim Brewer, of course, is responsible for Choo Choo, who is on at second base right now. This is the last home game of the season for the New York Mets here at the Polo Grounds. The Mets will be at County Stadium in Milwaukee on Tuesday night, in Milwaukee on Wednesday night. Thursday is off. Then they move into Chicago to Wrigley Field Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon. And that concludes the season for the New York Mets. Bob Anderson is allowed 8 warm-up tosses in a situation of this sort, coming on from the bullpen. Standing to one side, keeping count of them, is Dusty Boggess, the umpire. Signals to me he has a couple more. Anderson has seen a great deal of relief duty this year for the Chicago Cubs. All right, that's his 8th warm-up toss, and Joe Christopher steps into the batter's box. Christopher has popped to second, flied to center, fouled out to first base, and lined into a double play. One man out. Score tied, 1-1. Anderson into a set position. And here's the pitch to Christopher. Swung on it to ground ball, going to short. Taken there by Rogers. The throw to first in time. There's no advance. On the ground ball, Choo Choo Coleman forced to hold up at second. And so now it is up to Frank Thomas for the New York Mets. Thomas had a home run in the bottom half of the 6th. His 33rd home run of this season. He hit into a force play in the first inning. Actually, it was the ground ball that was turned into a double play. He walked in the 4th, and he struck out in the 8th. Richie Ashburn has now come out on deck swinging a bat. Roger Craig is due up next for the Mets. And so Richie Ashburn is out swinging a bat. Bob Anderson comes set. Choo Choo leads. There's a breaking ball low and away, and it's ball 1. 2 men out. In the bottom half of the 9th inning. Anderson looking in to get his side from catcher Dick Bertell. Again, he comes set. And the pitch. Gets on by. Comes past catcher Bertell to the backstop. And rounding third and holding there is Choo Choo Coleman. Anderson covering the plate. Takes the throw back from Bertell, but Choo Choo is holding at third base. It is scored as a wild pitch. Scored as a wild pitch. It is 2-0. It moves Choo Choo Coleman from second to third. So now Frank Thomas steps back in with a count of 2 balls and no strikes. Anderson turns to work straight away with a runner on third. Pitch is outside. It's 3 balls and no strikes to Thomas, with Richie Ashburn kneeling in the on-deck circle as the prospective batter for Roger Craig, due up next. Here's a 3-0 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 1. It's 3-1. Choo Choo Coleman back to the bag at third. Bob Anderson now smoothing out the dirt there in front of the rubber. Looking in for his sign from Dick Bertell. Has it, and here is a 3-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike two. It's a full count now to Thomas in the bottom half of the ninth inning. The score is tied 1-1. Well, all season long, the Mets have been in closely competitive ball games, one-run ball games, extra inning ball games. So this finale at the Polo Grounds is no exception to what we've seen all season long. 1-1 in the bottom of the ninth. Is a swing and a drive into left. It's in there for a base hit, and the ball game is over. Choo-Choo Coleman comes across the plate as Frank Thomas drives in the winning run, and the New York Mets win it by a score of 2-1. Thomas with a line shot into left field. Choo-Choo Coleman scoring from third, and the New York Mets have pulled it out in the bottom half of the ninth inning. So in the bottom half of the ninth, there were 2 men out when the winning run was scored. We'll be back in a moment with a final summary on totals. Right now, the final score of the ball game, the New York Mets 2 and the Chicago Cubs 1. Well, pipe smokers, relax in a man's world with mild Sir Walter Raleigh. Sir Walter Raleigh is known as the brand of grand aroma, and you'll enjoy it from the very first pipeful. It's choice Kentucky Burley, extra age. Smells grand, packs right, smokes sweet, can't bite. Yes, choice Kentucky Burleys are extra aged to their peak of mildness to help you enjoy pipe smoking more. And Sir Walter Raleigh's pouch pack keeps tobacco 44% fresher. You can feel the tobacco is kept fresh and moist by the Sir Walter Raleigh pouch pack. The pouch is sturdy and flexible too, won't bulge your pocket. And for home or office, get Sir Walter Raleigh in the exclusive knob-top vacuum pack canisters, large economy size or the half canister. These humidor canisters keep Sir Walter Raleigh factory fresh. So men, light up and enjoy today's game with the quality pipe tobacco, Sir Walter Raleigh, in the pouch pack or the exclusive knob-top canisters. Sir Walter Raleigh, the brand of grand aroma. With a recording playing Auld Lang Syne, we have completed the last game of the season here at the Polo Grounds. The New York Mets have won it. For the Mets, 2 runs on 6 hits and 1 error. For the Cubs, 1 run on 3 hits and 3 errors. Roger Craig gets the victory, his 10th victory of the season, so Craig becomes the first Met pitcher to win 10 games. And Frank Thomas drove in the winning run, scored by Choo-Choo Coleman, who had doubled, scoring it in the bottom half of the ninth inning. So that just about brings us up to the end of the line for this afternoon. We'd like to thank our engineer, Joe Vernon, our statistician, Joe McDonald, our producer, Joe Gallagher. So right now, this is Lindsey Nelson speaking for Bob Murphy and for Ralph Kiner. Final score once again, the New York Mets 2, the Chicago Cubs 1.